Pokemon Go maker Niantic is having to cut costs by laying off about 8% of their staff and scrapping some of their games that are in production that are now going to be scrapped and not in production anymore. So the CEO said that this is due to the fact that the company is facing economic turmoil and they just gotta move on, So I guess this is what happens, when you're a sort of a smaller game company and then you get this great IP in the form of, Pokemon Go, and you have this one game that really blows off and you become this big deal, and then you make a bunch of follow-up games which are basically sort of the same game but with different IP, different intellectual property, a little bit of a different gameplay, and they just don't catch on, So I didn't even know about their follow-up games. Apparently they had a Harry Potter game that they canceled after it was out for 2 years because nobody really cared anymore. Now they've announced an NBA game where you are going to let me see, where you're gonna collect NBA stars, buff them, customize them, and then you're gonna take on other players. Sounds very familiar. I remember back in the day. This is way back in high school. I used to play this Injustice mobile game, and then they released Injustice 2, and then I think they released a WWE sort of a same game, and I think they even released a Mortal Kombat. I don't know. Basically, it was all the same game. They just had different apps. They just had different skins, different IPs. It was all the same game, So this is sort of, I think, what Niantic is sort of suffering from, because at the end of the day as well, Pokemon Go wasn't some sort of an amazing game. It was a new thing, so that was definitely cool, but it wasn't super amazing. It blew up because it was Pokemon. If it was some unknown thing, if it would have blown up, it wouldn't have lasted as long as it did. But Pokemon Go is still, it's a huge deal. I think they were the 5th highest grossing game last year. So, they're still a pretty big deal. But yeah, I think this is, is just a case of, your company growing a little bit too fast, becoming a little bit too big of a deal. And, you just can't replicate the success. So, this is what they're sort of suffering from at this point. And yeah, just sort of just sort of interesting. I mean, hopefully it works out. Obviously they need to find the next big hit. But I think I don't know, they really got to change up the gameplay a little bit more. And I specifically for Niantic games, and I hear people complain about this all the time, and this was why I and a few of my friends had to stop playing Pokemon Go, because the thing is, if you live in a little bit more of a rural area, if you don't live in a city, if you just live in a town, in a village, whatever, these games don't really work, at least in Pokemon Go, you have gyms and stuff like that, which are, usually you have these spots where you play and whatever, which are based on real world landmarks. So if you're sort of in the middle of nowhere, there's not really a lot of that, so but they don't really care about those players, because they just care about the ultra competitive players that play in the cities and stuff, and then have the money to spend their money on Pokeballs and stuff. So that's definitely an audience that I think they should do something about. Other than that, yeah, just, the whole GPS thing, moving around, cool, but I don't know, they just need to change the gameplay a little bit more. They need to add a little bit more to the games, in my opinion. Of course, I don't know anything, but yeah, anyways, wish them best of luck, and yeah, that's it.